There's no music. There's no music. Dang it, the music's not picking up. All right, well, let's go with what we got today. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know I didn't have the intro music there. Sorry, I did not get that fixed. We'll have to work on that later. We'll see how that goes. Looks like we do have volume of my voice, so we'll go with that for now. We'll figure out the rest later. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll make up the government date like they always do because they're a bunch of goddamn liars. Let's see. We're going to call it January 13th. It's a Tuesday, 2026. Well, this is the first day of the year they really get to do a true broadcast, so we're going to call it what it is, the first of the year. This is for me. I know it is now the 13th of the year, which means half of January is already gone. So I do appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Thank you for being here. Hey, Jim, keep talking. I can hear you loud and clear, says Edward. Thank you so much for that, Ed. All right, guys. Well, I have to go out here and see what Facebook is or is not doing. According to their, whatever they decide to do today, if they're not going to be a part of the publishing of things. I'm not sure why my personal page still cannot get out of jail. I've gone to Facebook. I've done everything I can there, and they will not respond to me. I need them to, so... What the F do I know? Anyway, all right. Try not to be too bitter today. Am a little bit tired. I have been working on getting my medications under control to where I don't have to use them as often, but I do not know if that will ever be the case some days. Seems like I get up and do things, and then I spend the rest of the day writhing in pain for the rest of the evening. So... Anyway, just to get back to the things of things, yes, folks, if those of you who have not talked to me personally, those of you who have gotten certain parts of the story of what did or did not happen to me, we're going to go down, I guess, give a little quick synopsis of what happened. Thursday morning, which would be New Year's morning, not the evening, not the night out drinking, not out getting all the libations down my neck. I was not drunk. I did not overeat. In fact, I just had a little bit of chips and hot salsa, and that was about it. And I woke up to get some salt because I had a little bit of acid reflux. And at that point, I felt like I had some dry heaves. So I went to the bathroom to do the dry heave thing, which is not a big deal. It's a bit of heck, no big deal. Move on. Sometimes that salt will bring up some black stuff. Sometimes the salt will create a purifying in the body. That's why it cures meat. That's why it does a lot of things good for the body. That's why you should take 2 to 5 teaspoons a day, according to the American Medical Association. Not Jim Price, not me making up some bullshit to make you guys think you got to drink a bunch of salt or eat a bunch of salt. That is what's absolutely necessary for your body to function in one 24-hour period. The last time you had 2.5 teaspoons of salt, let me know, because most of you haven't bothered to get 1 teaspoon of salt, because I know the life I led where I was getting 0 salt in my diet. So anyway, I got up to do that and had a little acid reflux of things, and then I fell backwards, and that's where I hit my ribs on my elongated toilet that sits beyond the kitchen or the bathroom sink cabinet, and I fell back, then hitting my left ribs, which broke the fall from the back of my head hitting the corner of the tub, which I did end up hitting my head and having a bruise there, but my neck has been very sore for 2 weeks. If only I knew a chiropractor that could pop my neck. Anyway, so and then I got up thinking I had an acute attack of a kidney stone, which I felt like I'd already had some symptoms of that prior. Coming to find out, after I got to the hospital thinking I was writhing in pain from a kidney stone, I had actually fallen and had 7 fractures. 7 fractures on my left side, and at that point, I guess it was up to me to figure out how to heal myself, because the pain control and management never really occurred until I got home. The pain control and management never really happened until I got away from the hospital. The pain management control got better after I got out of ICU, just going upstairs. And the things of the fallacies and things that happened while I was in that emergency room, while I was in the trauma unit, while I was in ICU, guys, I don't know if we have all lost the narrative of this whole goddamn story of what you're doing on this big blue market, but we're here for damn each other. And so all your bullshit insecurities and all the reasons why you don't talk to somebody, you don't engage, and all those other things, well, that's on you. The sad part of it is I know what I experienced, and I know what humanity I experienced, not only from medical professionals, but also those that would consider to be people that I know or people that I call my friends. And I will say that there were people who stepped up and did a lot of things, and there were people who were absolutely absent. And absent to the point now where it makes me wonder what it is and why it is I even hope to have those people in my phone contacts. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be vindictive. I'm not trying to speak out of pain, which I am in an enormous amount of pain. But what I'm trying to point out to you is that the sad part of it is a guy like me who has spoken in front of tens of thousands of people at a time. I've spoke all across this country. I've been doing this now for 8 going on 9 years, whatever the hell it is. If it's 2 days or 10, 20 years, I don't give two shits what the mark is, but it doesn't matter. The moment that we are failed to come to each other and bind to each other when we need each other the most this is where we have failed as society. And I'll tell you right now, guys, you guys all want to run around here and act like, oh, voter integrity, and oh, Trump's not doing this, and Trump's not doing that, and oil embargo's this, and oh, Cuba that, and Russia's this, and China that. Guys, you guys are just missing the story altogether of what we really should be doing for each other. Hey, Stephanie Morrow, good to see you. Marsh Anderton. My daughter Rebecca's here. Good to see you, Linda. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Jeanette, good to see you as well. But I will tell you right now, guys, as I laid on a metal slab of a table in a trauma unit looking at a ceiling that looked like it was a third world country, the wires and ceiling tiles look like shit, and the lights aren't nice and everything else. And maybe when you go into a trauma unit, coming off of an ambulance, getting off the bus there, you get out, rolled out of the back, and they're in a big emergency to get you in because they got to put a chest tube in. They got to stop your hole from perfusing into you got air leaking into the cavity of the chest, which feels like an elephant sitting on you. And maybe somewhere in their middle of all those goddamn things that we were doing to this body right here, this man sitting here, maybe we just should have stopped for just one damn second and asked me if I was all right. And maybe if I said it wasn't all right, maybe there could have been someone who could stop for just a half a second and just address the human being laying there. Because as I watched my heart rate maintain a constant heart rate, 130 to 160 for 6 days straight on 2 to 6 liters of oxygen, sitting there watching the fact that my pain never came down, my blood pressure was 190 over 160 constantly. When I'm sitting there watching the humanity, the man sitting here right in front of you right now, just saying, hey, listen, I'm a little stressed out. I'm a little worried about things. Is there anything you could give me to calm me down, some stress relief, anything to take the edge off of the stress? Well, we gave you an antidepressant, sir. And that's not what I asked for. I didn't ask for a damn antidepressant. I didn't ask for blood thinners and blood coagulant and blabba. I didn't ask for Dupixent and all this other shit that makes your limbs fall off and gives you an infection in your taint. I didn't ask for them to give me stuff to bring my blood pressure down. I didn't ask for them to bring my heart rate down. What I asked them was the humanity, the human being of it. Me. This guy right here. I just asked for just a little bit of a relief. And so on the same day that I'm admitted to the emergency room or going in the emergency room, then taking an emergency ambulance ride from Andover Medical to St. Francis in Wichita, which is a very short bus ride. It's not that big of a, getting the ambulance right over lights and sirens. There was a human being in the middle of all that. There was a human being trying to figure out how to deal with life, how I knew that You know, it's day one. The mortgage company wants their mortgage. And listen, guys, I know that that sounds kind of crazy that you would think I would think about the mortgage company or about the truck payment or whether the cell phone bill is paid or all those things. Why? Because those are all the things that I have to maintain and be responsible for 24/7 without reprieve. And I've been dealing with a mortgage or paying for the house for whatever my extended family, extended family, whatever it is, the house to maintain where people come to for sanctuary. I'm at 54 years old now. I owned my own place at 19. I had my own house by the time I was 24. Guys, I was paying the mortgage. I was paying the rent. I was paying all those bills, doing all those things, being that person. So at the moment that I've got a hole in my lung where they're wanting to stick a patch in my lung, stick a chest tube in, and put 7 plates in my body, yeah, I was a little stressed out about a lot of other things too, on top of the fact that I was getting ready to go into an operation that I knew was going to be horrific and it would be horribly painful. That every time I took a breath and those things it was absolutely the most pain I could handle. But here's a part of it that I want you guys to remember, guys. I shouldn't have to handle the pain at that level. I shouldn't have had to figure out how to compartmentalize and to put that extreme moment into a different part of my brain or a different part of my body to hold all that back. I should have been able to express my pain and been able to show who I really was and what I was really feeling. But the doctor said, "Sir, can you calm down? Sir, I know you're laying on a piece of stainless steel table in a room in a building that you've never seen or been a part of before with tubes hanging out of you and people running around. I know that you're seeing all these things and they're telling you they're going to put a chest tube in you and patch your lung and ask if you want donated blood or not and if they need to do heroic efforts to bring you back if you were to lose your life on the table." Now, I wasn't asking for propofol. I wasn't asking for, fentanyl. I wasn't asking for things that I wasn't asking for anything. I was just asking for just something to take the edge off of me so I wasn't freaking out. Hey, Jeff Raver, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you so much for being here, brother. Appreciate it. Love to catch up sometime if you got a chance. So the humanity of the man sitting there was this guy sitting here now, and I am now, whatever you want to call it, 12 or 13 days out of that from that experience. But I will tell you right now, guys, as I laid there and I'm going through all these things, the doctor walks over to me and says, "Sir, So I got to catch my breath for a second. So we took an X-ray of you, Mr. Price. We took an X-ray of you in Andover, and we took an X-ray of you here, which again means lifting up and slapping myself back down on an X-ray plate. Hell, have we not got any better than that shit in society? That we don't have to lift the patient up and put them on 1960s X-ray trays? Have we not got any better than that in all the technology? We're going to Mars. We've got supposedly robots running around cleaning houses nowadays. And you're in a trauma unit, a tier 1 trauma unit, the highest level trauma unit in this area, and they still use mechanical X-ray plates where they got to lift you up and down on your broken ribs and they take X-rays of you in that way? Holy shit. Oh, no, but Mr. Price, we want to worry about, putting flashy lights in your brain and making sure that your dopamines are all dysregulated. We're going to worry about mind control, but we can't get you a goddamn decent X-ray without the experience of being horrifically painful every time they lift you on and lift you off? Oh, we didn't quite get it. We're going to have to do that again. Well, how about F you and the A, bro? I didn't see you getting slapped around on your rib X-rays here. But again, nobody's addressing the pain. Nobody's addressing the chest pain that I'm having from the air inside of my body. Nobody's talking about the hole in my lung. Nobody's talking about the fractures. They're just worried about the quality of their X-ray that seems to be a little archaic, like I'm in a jungle in Peru. Hey, Kelly Wolf, good to see you. And guys, listen, this is me kind of getting it out there all at once, and I've told this story in parts and pieces to different people, and so I hear, and let me give you a little bit of a scenario real quick. As I'm laying in the room, and this room's about a 20 by 30, I can tell by the size of the room, I can tell by the echoing of it, I can tell by my peripheral vision of seeing things. And as I'm laying there and I got an IV in this arm, I got an IV in this arm, and I've got shit on my face and on my chest and all these other things, and people are like, oh, does this hurt? Does that hurt? Does this? I'm like, everywhere you're hurting touches, everything you're touching hurts. Stop. So as I'm sitting there in that moment, and listen, guys, there's going to be miracles in this, and I don't want you to get caught up in the negativity of my pain that I'm speaking in right now. Don't get caught up in the negativity of my pain, okay? That's not the pain is necessary because I'm hurting right now, and it's just part of the deal of being on the show. So it's hard. I'm breathing shallow. Sir, breathe deeper. You're having shallow breaths. Your heart rate's raising. Fuck. Shut up. So as I'm laying there and they've rolled the tray of knives and all the little stainless steel accoutrement for surgery, and you hear them go cring over here with all the shit they're laying out, and they got it over here. They got all these things going on, right? I'm going through all this stuff, and I'm listening because I'm that person, guys. And listen, it doesn't. Oh, Jim, just turn it off and all this good shit. Okay. Having lived the life I've led, having had the childhood I had, my acute senses to the details and the sounds and the echoes and the temperature of the room, these are the things that I do very well, and this is what I have built into me for survival. Of more information allows me to make better decisions. So anyways, I'm hearing things go on. And I'm hearing things. I hear this conversation over here in this left-hand corner start to be had, and I can hear it till it's 2 to 3 men, and they're talking in there, and they're going, oh, well, and you could hear there's some discerning going on. And guys, listen, I know that I use the word discerning a lot, and I wish that we would actually learn to be more discerning, not that we are questioning or a pain in the ass about everything, but in the fact that we're actually trying to find good questions to get better answers. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. Amanda Walker, thank you so much for being here. So, Jeff Raver says it's okay not to be okay. Yeah. So, again, I hear this conversation in this left-hand corner. Listen, guys, there's miracles happening the whole way through all this entire thing. And guys, if you don't understand spirituality, you don't understand the sense of the human being, you don't understand what we're going through, you don't understand what good and evil is, then you're going to lose the narrative. You're going to lose this whole story in about 10 seconds. It's not going to make a lot of sense to you here in a minute. I did not pass out because of a vascular issue. I did not pass out because I was drinking alcohol, which I don't drink. I mean, guys, if I have a whiskey sour once or twice a month or something, that's my drinking too much for Jim Price, because I just don't like what alcohol does to my body. I really find it. I just don't know what we do it for. And to be honest with you, every time I've tried to get involved in alcohol or try to drink it or let my hair down and all that, I don't know. It's just me. It's not you. Don't worry, it's not me. Or it's not you, it's me. So, as I'm hearing this conversation in this left-hand corner go on, and I'm hearing this and I'm cueing in on it, and I hear the goings-on around me, and, sir, can you feel this? Can you tell? I'm laying there literally naked at this point. I had a pair of sweats on. I had a hoodie pullover on. The sweats came off right when I got in there. Basically, got in there. The hoodie came off. I said, "Don't cut it off. I'll just take it off." And so we yanked off my one arm and yanked it off. Cut it off the other one. Just took it off. In fact, I thought I had lost the hoodie and the pants anyway, because hell, your belongings don't really matter anymore when you go in the hospital, because it's just your shit and it doesn't matter. I didn't know where my stuff was until day 6 or 7 of being in the hospital. But again, we're forgetting who the human being is here. We're forgetting that there's a human involved in all this care. So by the way, guys, this whole thing is completely, I don't know what this doctor bill is going to look like. I don't know what I think the bus ride's like $10,000 for a ambulance ride, lights and sirens. I'm sure they add a zero in there somewhere or do something special. And so as I'm sitting there, laying there, I'm hearing these things going on, and I'm picking up on these conversations. If you guys have questions during this, please chime in, because a lot of this stuff, I'm trying to go off of memory, and I have been on narcotics. I may have had conversations with you. I may have started text messages with you. I may have been in the middle of a conversation with you, and I may have forgotten to respond to you. I may have responded to you completely sounding weird. And guys, I don't know how people function on medications, driving around town, supposedly doing all this shit normally. I had known people in my lives that were on this shit. In fact, they prescribed a lot of this stuff to me back when I was having a lot of my lower back issues and things, which I've now mostly worked on, I think. But my point is that, guys, if I'm skipping a part of the story, if you have a question, chime in. Because better questions will get a better story, or better information about the story. Hey, Courtney Allen, good to see you. Jeff Raver says, thank the insurance companies for creating a non-empathetic medical system. Oh, absolutely, man. I never felt like I was not a human being so much in all my life. I have been put in front of, I've had to do the old spread your cheeks and cough moment in my life. And I will tell you what, I thought more of a human being in that than I did while I was on that metal slab in that trauma unit. And I don't know, I'm not telling you guys you need to put a mural of Jesus or something on the ceiling of a trauma unit, but god dang, at least paint the damn thing. Just lay on a gurney or lay on a whatever and just keep your head straight up and see what people see. Maybe most people going into trauma aren't alive or aren't awake. I get it. Maybe they're in far worse situation, or maybe they're not as cognitive as I am, and I know that I am the exception to the rule when it comes to observation and intellect. I get it. But it doesn't make it less painful. Well, actually, it makes it more painful because I catch more of it. I catch more of the stupid shit. Catch more of the things where we should have done better. But anyway, as I'm laying there, I hear these gentlemen in the corner over here, these 2 or 3 gentlemen. They sound like they're in their, I hear their late 20s, maybe once or early 30s. And I'm hearing this conversation being had, and the doctor comes over and he says, Mr. Price, we were looking at your x-rays from Andover Medical, and we looked at our x-rays we've done here, which we got to take a couple of those because we weren't sure it was painful enough the first time. We went ahead and got another couple x-rays just to make sure that you knew you were alive, because you could still feel the pain. Ha, ha, ha. Sorry. And the guy comes over and he goes, sir, we've seen the x-ray from here to here, and we think that the lung has actually stopped putting air into the chest cavity, and we'd like to wait on surgery. I said, yes. He goes, well, you don't want to have surgery? I said, if you can keep from cutting my body open, yes. And guys, I never so much wanted to hug the guy around the neck, but also wanted to stand so firm on the idea, I don't want you putting things into my body, and I don't want you cutting my body open. Because unless the bone is sticking out of the skin, I don't want you touching me. Now, the sad part of it is that I said this several times in my ICU experience over the next 6 days. I said this over and over again. If I knew if I could go home and manage the pain at home in some way with a type of morphine or a type of whatever that I could administer myself, I would have done it 1,000 times over before letting them put another pill in my neck or another Dilaudid or whatever in my injection port on my arm. But the gentleman said, "Are you sure you want to wait on surgery?" I said, "Absolutely." Is it safe? Do you think that things have stopped? He goes, "Well, it looks like the perfusion, the hole in your lung, has patched." He didn't use those words. I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he used some big medical term to make it sound like he really spent a lot of money on that education. So as I laid there and I'm like, yes, that would, yes. He goes, well, we'll reevaluate at 2:00. Now, this would have been about 9:00 or so at this time. And now I'm using this all started at 5:45. By the time I got to the hospital, it was sometime after 6:30, somewhere in there. By the time I got from there, by the way, let me do this. Let me back up. Andover, I go to Andover. The guy goes, I got kidney stone dropped. I get jack stones. These are horribly painful. They're the big crowns of thorn. They're the big thorny things. And if you've ever had a kidney stone and you know what kidney stone, look up jack stone. Look up kidney stone, jack stone. Just look it up on your Google search or DuckDuckGo or the hell you get screwed over on your internet searches on. But just look at the images on it. And so he's like, so he goes, he takes me back. He says, well, let's get an x-ray right away. And he goes, well, and that's when he came back. He goes, sir, you don't have kidney stones. You have 7 fractures and you have a hole in your lungs. We have to get you to trauma right now. This is what the first 20 minutes of being in the ER in Andover got me. So that's when all that started. So anyway, as the doctor says, well, we can wait until 2 o'clock. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what happens. Looks like the lung is stable or whatever the medical term they wanted to use or whatever the hell it is. I said, so we can do that? He goes, yes. He says, well, I want to wait. I don't want to get cut open. So as I say that, it was as if somebody rang the lunch bell. Now, guys, I know that this sounds a little facetious to you, but just 20 seconds ago in this conversation, I have people that are getting ready. They're prepping me for surgery. They're getting ready to put chest tubes in. They're getting ready to go in for the chest spreaders. They got the rib spreaders, so go in for the lung to patch the lung, which, you know, that tickles. They're going in with the plates. They're going to go with the chest tube. They're going to go in with the patch on the lung. And they're all of a sudden, those 3 major surgeries suddenly go to halt, and we're going to reevaluate at 2 o'clock. Well, we're going to put you in ICU, and we'll wait. I said, that sounds great. So all of a sudden, that conversation's had, and I'm saying between 20 and 30 people were in that room. Now, there could have been 3. Again, I wasn't sitting up, high-fiving and shaking hands and doing autographs. The room was emptied. It was like me and one other person in there. Then about 5 to 10 minutes later, somebody came in and says, okay, looks like we're going to ICU. All right, Mr. Price, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, they transferred me to this other bed, and then I'm off to the ICU. Now, guys, I may have described a lot of this as seeming like it was very inhumane and other things, and maybe they were just doing protocols because, there's a life at stake, and that's their job to get them in and get them out alive, right? So as I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I'm being drugged up to the ICU, the amount of pain that I was in, the amount of pain that I was tolerating was so extreme. They were like, well, we can only do so much for you because you're going to go into surgery, so we can't do a lot for you right now. So for 2 days, I was sipping water out of a straw. I could only about every half an hour to hour, I could have a little sip of water. Because at any time, I could be going in for surgery if my lung were to collapse or to be perfused again, but the hole opens up again, there would be an emergency surgery I would be going into immediately. For 2 days. So a lot of those things I was trying to put a good face on when I was giving you, hey, Mike, Shellman, good to see you. Shellman, a lot of things I was trying to put on a good face for, guys. Now, I may have done a recording that next morning or whatever when I woke up on day 2 or whatever it was when I did a recording and put it out. But Being Jim Price and being who I am, I've never been one to try to show pain. I've always been one to sit here in agony and wince here, and there's been times I've actually had to throw up because of the pain that I'm in doing this show. My back pain has been so horrific that I've actually, while showing you guys another video of something else and the pain, I was actually throwing up in this trash can here because the pain was so much. Or the fact that I've had to deal with a lot of the pain in my life that no one ever wanted to address, and I always just hid it inside of myself. So the point of all this is that miracle one is that I did not hit my head on the tub, but I did break bones instead. 7 fractures to save the head. And whether that was the wake-up call from the spiritual processing and things I did with some healing I had done that Monday prior to Thursday, I don't know. I can't tell you directly, but it seems that it was. It had a lot to do with the contracts I was willing to break, and I said, they don't service me, but they're not for my good anymore. I don't want your contracts. I don't want your tethers. I don't want your connections. I want you to go away. And that very conversation that I had on that Monday, but also I end up having that conversation again on Friday and again on Saturday as I tried to work through some of the pain I was dealing with, and it seemed like there was something wanting to go back in and take a hold of me again. That's like, well, maybe this pain wasn't good enough for him to realize that he needs to cut away from all that. That those connections and those people, those energies, those things that do not service me anymore, those connections are tied, and those ties are gone. But as a man that's sitting here right now in front of you, and I will talk about the news of the day here in a second, I want to talk about a few things, but I will tell you, as we go into all this stuff here, I want you guys to listen that I'm not telling you the story because this is about telling you about what you can and cannot handle. And because I can handle this amount of pain doesn't mean you should, or you should try to hide it or try to deal with it. This is my own stupidity. Not stupidity, it was just a coping mechanism to deal with pain, to swallow that pain, to not outwardly show. Don't let the enemy don't show them you're in pain. Don't let them see you being defeated. Don't let them see you writhe in pain. You don't wince in front of them. You do that later. You did it another time. But those pain and that harm and those things, all those things, those things that I used to hide down, I'm not going to do it anymore because I'm not going to store them inside my body. They don't service me and they don't do anything for my better good. So we're going to do better. So I've learned to be a better man because of it. But I've also learned that we still don't know how to treat each other worth a shit. The first thing we'll all do is bitch about Johnny and Susie this and Jilly that and Bobby that and baby everybody else is the problem. And a lot of times I may lash out and I may be a little snarky and I may a little bit snap and I may say little things here and there. But I got you guys to understand, listen to me. The only time that I'm telling you right now, the reason those things come out is because the amount of actual physical pain that I am dealing with inside of my body. And if I've ever snipped and snapped at any of you guys and it seemed like in anger and those things, a lot of times it really had nothing to do with you or that situation, but it was just a dog pile of pain and things I had been dealing with for a long time. So what I'm saying is that a lot of times in humanity, we got to remember that the human being is going through a lot, and we got to remember that. But we got to also remember that people will selfishly absorb people's accolades, absorb people's energy, absorb people's goodwill, absorb people's charity because they're a bunch of succubuses. They love to suck the energy out of everything because they're a bunch of hypochondriacs who like to overplay their pain. People who like to talk about the hangnail that took them down. They haven't been able to recover. That hangnail they had back in 3rd grade is the reason they limp today. So we have to find that balance in the humanity, and we realize that there will be people out there who will take advantage of our goodwill. But I will tell you, a person like myself who has financial difficulties that I have never even told you guys about and things that I have not begun to even express or tell you guys about, there's a lot more behind what's going on this guy right here. And I have done a lot of great work, and I'm working on me, and I'm working on my ego, and I'm doing all the stuff I'm telling you guys to even start on. I'm working on it. If you guys want to work on ego, you guys want to work on those things, I would love to help you with that. I'd love to be a coach for you. I'd love to help you with that journey. I cannot do it for you. I can't, light the path. You have to be willing to do the work, and I will go with you, and I will share with you my experiences and the things that I have gone through, and you will be able to accelerate yourself through the processing of pain and making yourself a better person at light speed compared to what I've had to deal with. See, even in this moment here, I'm trying to give to you guys something. We've all forgot about what the humanity of these things are, and we've all forgot the narrative of the story, which is each other. It's not about, any of this stuff, but guys, I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I don't think that we all ought to start dividing each other's wealth up, but what I'm trying to say is that we ought to really try to find out ways to do better for each other. Hey, Dave Glevin, good to see you, man. So I will tell you that, yes, I do feel a lot of things, and I'm going through a lot of things, and I will tell you that I'm never going to probably tell you. If I said I was in pain, well, then you want to understand that if I'm willing to tell you I'm in pain that most people couldn't even breathe through. If I bother to tell you about something that I am experiencing, it's not because it just started to happen or because it's a little sting in my little cuticle here where I got a little hangnail going that every time I wash my hands, the soap burns my skin right there. I wish that my pain tolerances were that low, that I could just be that, like, So the point of all this thing is, guys, listen, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in the humanity and what we lost. Hey, Randall, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Good evening, he says, sir. Great to see you back in the studio. Absolutely, thank you. But anyway, so going back to the humanity of it, we've lost the narrative, guys. We really have. I look around at us, and I will say that this is all a bunch of bullshit. So let's get on to the news of the things of the day. I will talk more about my experiences as we go through it, and I hope that I have given you some highlights on the fact that, you guys can tolerate more than you realize. Kind of going back to the Aladdin, the story, right, is that, it's amazing what you can live through. And there was a comment in there, and one of the things that, genie can't kill you, but it's amazing what you can live through. Guys, and I'll tell you right now that if you think that evil, it doesn't exist, look at my life and look at the simplicity in which I'm trying to get my life down to the smallest common factor. I'm trying to get down to these small numbers and being able to be better on a grander scale. But the more that I find out about how to be authentic, how close I find it, and a better way for us to be better for each other, I'm telling you right now, the true spiritual attacks. And I'm not talking about the cloven hoof, demon with the bifurcated tail and the horns and the trident fork and the Satan red skin thing. I'm not talking about that. The evil I'm talking about is not an individual, but it is an energy. And if you want to be so amazingly powerful and you want to be so amazingly full of light, you have to know that the darkness is right there to greet you. And so no matter how big or how small you think you are, if you want to play small, well, then evil will be small. If you want to play big, then evil will be big. If you're going to be big positive, you're going to have big evil trying to attack you. If you want to play it small and be nothing and never have a hangnail and never worry about challenging yourself or never giving a donation to the Jim Price show and watching him for years, hey, that's up to you. That's where you want to play your safe. Well, we don't want to dare give any money to Jim, or we don't want to do this, or we don't want to say that. We don't want to risk anything. We don't want to risk anything. We don't want to risk anything. Well, trust me. Evil's not looking for your ass, okay? If you're not willing to risk, if you're not willing to try, if you're not willing to put yourself out there, then evil's not looking to take your ass out. And whatever that spiritual moment was that happened in my bathroom on the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning in my bathroom in Wichita, Kansas, what that moment was, I don't know directly where that all came from, but I will tell you right now, somebody didn't like me breaking those ties and those contracts. They wanted me to maintain that control that they had. They wanted me to keep that. See, by the way, guys, these contracts and these evil contracts, these evil things that come into your life, you let them. And don't give me your bullshit about, well, I pray to Jesus and I do all this stuff. Let me tell you right now, you don't understand what your Bible's talking about. See, the sad part of it is, I've told you guys, your light, your candle, your light, your glow, your energy will always push back darkness. So if you say that darkness is coming in around you, yeah, they're going to be looking for your weaknesses. They're going to be looking to come after you guys. It's a very much part of the life. But you can always win. But you got to put forth the effort, and you got to break those ties, those contracts. And so now that I've found those contracts, now that I've found those tethers, I'm going to make sure and keep them away from me so they can't maintain that energy suck. They need our energy. They need our negativity. They need us to live. Sorry I keep itching. It's probably the painkillers. I can't do too much while I'm on the show. If I took a Benadryl, I'd be even more loopy than I am now. So anyway. But let me tell you about the evils of the world. Mr. Bill Clinton decided that he didn't need to go to his congressional subpoenaed meeting with the House Oversight Committee today. And then his wife is going to go ahead and reject and say that she doesn't need to go to the Oversight Committee tomorrow. At the same time, I'm watching my same government that I was sitting there to, talking about how different things were going on. We also gave away $1 trillion right before Christmas. And it went to Ukraine and Israel. Now, the world around us, guys, is going to continue to do what it does, but here's the thing. When you start to step back from these things, when you start stepping into you and who you really are, and you become more authentic and less controllable, guys, this all starts to look very hysterical. You look around, you guys, this is what you guys do for a living. This is what you guys think is a great time. This is where you guys seek each other out. This is the pain you look to try to give to each other. So the point of it is, guys, is as I watch these things in our world around us, we have to say, listen, there's got to be a better way, and we can do a better way. Hey, Gary Bond, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. He says, it's a big positive. I'm working on it, brother. I am. Oh, I know I beat evil. Whatever that evil was that was coming after my ass, it wanted me, and it wanted me for real, and I could have given in. I could have given up, right? Remember at the end of the show every day I say, do not give in, do not give up, hold the line, hold fast, do not give up, do not give in. Hold the line, hold fast, meaning hold tight. Don't let go of that moment, right? Stay in that. Hold your ground, okay? Do not give up. Do not give in. A lot of times that's all it is. That's all a victory really is, guys, is just sticking around till the other guy gives up. A lot of times it's not even harder than that. Thank you guys for mentioning. Robert Burke, good to see you. What is God telling you regarding hospital trials? Who at the spiritual level above you is helping you? Well, Robert, I will tell you that what is God telling you regarding hospital trials? Well, I will tell you right now, the biggest thing I will tell you is that we all forget that evil exists, and that's probably the greatest lesson for me is that I really do try, guys, I really do try to go, and I give the benefit of the doubt over and over again, and I sat there for 6 days waiting for the doctors to bring my blood pressure down. I was waiting 6 days for them to bring my heart rate down. And on the 6th day, I sat up and I said, listen, I want out of here. And I literally lowered my respiration rate below 160, got it down to 90, lowered my blood pressure. Listen to me. I did this all on my own. I have eyewitnesses to it. I know what I did. And on that morning, I sat there and I got my blood pressure down to where it was just doing the 120 over 80 or 120 over 90. And everything was just completely normal because I did it myself because I kept waiting for them to do their part. I kept waiting for the doctors to give me an Ativan or a Valium or something to bring my mind down, to bring the energy down, to bring my anxiety down. I kept asking them to help me. Would you please help me? Would you please help me with the pain? In ICU, they can control your pain at any level they want to. They can put you into coma. They can do all kinds of amazing things to maintain your pain levels. But again, I was giving too much credit to doctors. I was giving too much credit to the hospital. I was giving too much credit to those things around me when I could have just done it all on my own with breath work, and I did it. So immediately they said, well, it looks like your blood pressure's under control and your heart rate's under control. We can send you upstairs. That's great. I said, let's do it. Let's get me out of here. Next thing you know, and within 5 hours of that, I'm being wheeled upstairs. And the next thing you know, I go from being given a 5-oxy, a 5-oxycontin, and other things downstairs in the ICU where they are able to control my pain at any level they want with limitless amounts of all the medications because they got me monitored to the hilt, right? I walk upstairs and the doctor first thing is, oh, looks like it's time for your medications or your pain meds. Would you like an Oxy 15? Yes. And instantly, I get that. Within an hour, my pain regulation comes down to a 3 to a 5 almost instantly. I'm like, you guys could have done this in the ICU 6 days ago, 7 days ago. But the spiritual thing of what we are up against, guys, is that we all do not give credit to the evil that is around us and the evil that is trying to consume us. We all think of it as a Sunday school story of, good, bad, and the ugly, right? We got, Jesus being tempted by Satan by saying, I will give you the kingdoms of the world. So as I went through all those things, it has nothing to do with, seems like the simple stuff. We always talk about, I was my great opposer, my great Satan, my Satan of my life. Well, it was drugs, or it was alcohol, or it was pornography, or it was, guys, if that's what you think evil is, then you're not even, like, that all evil's tempting you with. Good job. I guess seriously, guys, there's big things out there in this world. So don't say that it's pornography that tempts you and keeps you from being your best. Don't say it's the alcohol that tempts you and keeps you from. Don't say it's my job as my alcohol, as my addiction. Oh, I'm addicted to video games. I'm addicted to, come on. These are all simple decisions. So the world that we live in, and we watch all these people do all the things they're doing, it's because they're so small and so insecure and so selfish in their own little hearts that they don't realize that they just look absolutely childish from this side of the view. How I view life now and the things I look at life now, this is even before all this accident of things, the things that happened to me. There was miracles through the whole thing, guys. Not hitting my head directly on the tub saved my life. Okay? Seriously, I know that hitting my ribs saved my life, but it was also something else. There was more to what was going on in Jim Price. It was more of that, hey, let's get rid of the last of this. Let's get rid of those last contracts, those things, those tethers, the sacrifices that your mom was putting you in, the rituals that she put you in as a child. Let's break all those and get you out of that cycle. And I think we look around at the world around us and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Hillary Clintons and the Bill Clintons and those people who decide to tell Congress to go stick it. I am amazed by their arrogance, their flamboyance of saying, well, I'm just not going to go to my congressional. I'm a president of the United States. I don't care. The biggest part of all this, guys, really has to do with us. The life lesson of this whole thing with the trauma unit, this whole life lesson of the hospital, the whole life lesson of medical, the whole life lesson of what our country is going through, those things, it really comes down to each and every one of us individually getting our shit together, getting our heart right. And that's not sitting there at the knee on your knees and asking God to forgive you. That's the easy part. That's just logging in, Jesus, will you please forgive me for my sins? Okay, now what? What are you going to put in behind that? What work are you going to put in behind that? What are you going to do to make the world a better place around you? Sorry, I might itching on this stuff. That's why I tell you, I don't know how these people do pain medications. I literally feel, I don't know. It takes away the pain, but the other things, the itching and the other stuff, I'm like, and the fogginess. If you're addicted to this feeling, God dang, guys, get out in the sun. Golly, of all the things to be worried or sucked up on as pain meds. Julie says, breath is life. Absolutely. Amanda Walker says, it's the evil It's the evil within us. Absolutely. Ken Reason says, I am at my new work. My attendance may be scarce, but I'm still here watching. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that, buddy. I didn't realize you got a new job. Are you still up in the North Country, or did you get something here in Wichita? I didn't hear what your stuff was. So, Ken, update me on that a little bit if you would. Curious, buddy. No judgment. Just, hey, you got to land where you got to land, brother. I appreciate it. But yes, the evilness, the selfish sin nature of the heart is really at the end, at the very core of all these things. Because I talked to a gentleman today as I went to go out. I tried to go do it. And by the way, guys, I'm still trying to go out and I'm still trying to make some money. I'm still trying to do contract stuff and so that's not all going down. So I don't know. We're gonna have to do a give, send, go or a telethon or a money drive. I don't know what it is, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, the evil sin nature of the heart, the selfish sin nature of it is we're just seeing it display. It's just done at levels of magnitude, magnification. It's done on this amplitude. These things where people take something that is this little sin heart of theirs, and then they just gets blown out of proportion, and they let it go, and then they feed into it because they can't be wrong because, well, I did it, and I don't want to be this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Sad part of it is guys, that authenticity that we talk about on the show and the things that I have learned about myself in especially the last couple of years here, the things I've worked on myself, I'm I thought I was doing a lot of great things, and I think I'm doing a lot better today, but I'm light years ahead of where I was a couple years ago. And if you come up to me and you want to tell me about your journey of this and your journey of that, and I'm of this and I'm of that, guys, I can see through all that bullshit in a second. And I can tell you right now, I got a lot of lip service about, well, I'll pay for you, Jim, and I'll do that, and I'll do this, and I'm not nailing anybody to the cross here. But guys, there was Thursday and Friday. We were closer to not having a Jim Price than we were to having a Jim Price on Thursday and Friday, 1st and the 2nd of this year. And they have deprogrammed us, desensitized us, dehumanized us. They have turned us into such just emotionalist zombies. We have no heart. We have no soul. We have no compassion. We have no empathy or sympathy. We'll do drive-by. Oh, look at that sucker over there. But we're not willing to get down in the blood and the mud of it. And that's the sad part of it, right? Hey, Claudine, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So anyway, guys, as this is going on, I'm going to continue trying to get back to the politics of days and the things. But I will tell you right now, as I have seen, again, in my own life, how necessary the self is, the getting rid of the self, getting rid of the ego, working on our selfish sin nature, working on that person inside, as I go down this path of my healing and the things I'm having to go through. And then I will tell you guys, I don't know if anybody here has had a punctured lung before, but it hurts it hurts. The breath regulation, being able to breathe, and the pain. I have learned a lot about my body and things like that, and I didn't, I got right down here. I could tell you where the hole is. I could tell you where it is. I could feel it like a mother. I know what it feels like. I know where it's at. And so anyway, as we think of things, guys, just if you want to maintain keeping me in your prayers, and if you guys wanted to do a fundraiser, I'm not going to tell you no. If you guys wanted to, be compassionate, if you wanted to show up and live in a tent in my backyard and hold vigil till I'm better, I would think that would be amazing, and it's what we should be doing for everybody. We should all be doing this for each other. But again, with today, the first of the year, this is the first of the year. This is the first you're seeing Jim Price of the year trying to be back in the saddle again. The biggest thing of it is, guys, is we've all forgotten what the human being is. Chasing down vaccines, chasing down money, chasing down power, chasing down a better tank, a better bomb, a better missile, a better bullet, a better piece of music, a better this, a better that, when on reality, guys, it had nothing to do with any of that. All those things are to hide the lack of compassion and humanity we have in our heart for each other. Take some time to think about what I just said there. All the bullshit, the fiat currency, the drugs, the medications, the bombs, the bullets, all the things that we've demonized the human body, but we've also amplified what kills the human body, and we've forgot what being human really is. And that's, I hope, guys, that this lesson that I have gone through, even teaching me through these things, that it somehow teaches you and reaches out to you in a way that you remember how to be a human being again, and you remember how to feel again. And not in some, blue hair, oh, I got feelings and blah, 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 blah. No. Just remember to be a human being to each other. Remember to be good to each other. Remember to be soft. Oh, I don't want to talk to him. He's ugly. I don't want to talk to her. She's ugly. Oh, I don't want to talk to him because he's I don't like his hair. I don't like her. I don't like her shoes. Holy shit, folks. So that I'm just pointing out those things, and I hope that you guys enjoyed a little bit. Hey, Pat Mees, good to see you. I hope you understand I didn't come on here. I want to just get all this out, okay, so we can get on to things, because I want to tell you about how great life is and how much it's worth living, and how we can do so many more things and have fun with each other and enjoy each other and quit worrying about and quit trying to create dollars and cents of value of people and things that don't mean anything. And again, it comes down to a fire and a friend. That's it. Fire and a friend. That's all we need. By the way, everybody, Edward's birthday was this last weekend, so I would appreciate you guys all reaching out to Edward and letting him know. It sounds like he did have a hell of a weekend with his family and extended friends from clear back from kindergarten, 60-some-odd-year-old friendships that Edward has kept throughout his life. That he was able to have an amplified weekend of, it sounds like, 4 to 5 days of people traveling into Tucson to fly in to see him and play golf and have dinner and do all kinds of fun stuff with him. So anyway, guys, if we do have, by the way, if it's your damn birthday, tell us. Edwards, if it's your damn birthday, tell me. Guys, I wish, I appreciate you guys' infinite thing that you think I just catch it all. And I do. I catch a lot of stuff. And I know that it seems like I catch a lot. Oh, Jim Price knows everything. Okay. But if I'm missing your birthday, man, say something. Let's say each other's birthday. Let's talk to each other. And be there for each other. Anyway, my birthday's not till May, so nothing like that. But anyway, guys, if you have a birthday, whatever, say happy birthday to each other. Talk to each other. And every single person commenting on the show today, everybody that's out there in La La Land over on Rumble and on Twitter and on Facebook and all the different places, guys, please listen to me. Be friends with each other. Like, share, comment, be each other's friends. Everybody should be friends. I should have 5,000 mutual friends with Edward. Period. Everybody should have this, whatever your friends list, they should be exactly the same on everybody's friends list, because we're all friends with each other. Period. That's how we beat these sons of bitches. And I'm so tired of everybody going on there, well, I don't know, Jim, I'm tired, I'm missing it. Shut up. I'm writhing in pain with a hole in my lung, and I'm still out here trying to help. So don't give it to me. You don't have the time to friend request somebody. You don't have time to response back to friend requesting somebody. You don't have time for that, huh? Will you have time for it when you're in the box? Will you have time for it when they're in the box? Will you have time for it when Jim Price is gone and dead? And what? When do we have time for it? The time is now. So you can be mad or guilty or brushed off by that statement, but God dang it, guys, we are the answer. I don't know what we're all looking for here. So I'll always tell you guys that, yes, we can do better for each other, and there's things that we can do to amplify each other and make the world a better place, but it really comes down to just being each other's friends. Hey, Linda Millikamp, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Great conversation today. Good to see everybody out there doing a great job. Thank you guys so much for all your well wishes. And those that you did call, and those that I haven't called you back, or I do owe you a call. By the way, I was in the middle of an ICU unit. If the phone call didn't come through and I didn't answer, maybe I may have been, predisposed, or I wasn't getting a good signal. So anyway, Please forgive me for not getting back if I somehow have ignored you. I don't think I am that person. I've never wanted to ignore someone's contact. There are people in my life, yes, I have started blocking certain contacts, and there will be people I will continue to block because they are nothing but energy. They're energy succubuses. Look up the word succubus, and you will learn what I'm talking about here. There are people in your life that you will immediately fit that definition, but they might even be a parent or a child or somebody out there that made that definition as well. And so when I'm saying these things, guys, understand that I am just saying that if you create that boundary with that person, they'll actually come back to you with better boundaries, and they won't be the succubus anymore. And that teaches them a lesson, right? So you don't participate in allowing them to draw the energy out of you. You draw those boundaries, and you make a better you. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. So thank you guys so much for hanging in there. I apologize I didn't keep my eyes on the camera the most of the time. I'm dealing with a few other things, and the pain is real, and so is Israel. So anyway, all right, guys, that's about it for me. Remember the 10% we do for a neighbor, a community, or city, or county, or state, or federal government, or the 10% you do for James Price, right? The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. So we'll be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast, do not give up, do not give in. We will win. I promise. I don't make promises I can't keep, guys. You've always had the answer. Remember, the Constitution limits the government, but never limits you. You've always had that in your hands the entire time. God-given, inalienable rights that cannot be given or taken away by any man. And so that's the game we play, guys. They want to take away that energy. They want to take away your power. Just stand up and say no. And that's where all your power derives, when you just stand up and say no. All right, guys, thank you so much for being out there. Good to see everybody. Amanda, Pat Meads, Julie D is out there, Gary Bond, Robert Burke, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Marcia Enterden, Joan Doe was here as well. I got Edward being the moderator. My daughter Rebecca, Marcia Enterden. And, it was good to just see everybody. Thank you guys for all showing up. And, guys, thank you so much for being you. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there. And I will see you guys tomorrow.